Namo Bhagavate Shri Ramanaya. So in this Saddarsanam, we saw last class in the third verse, a beautiful example was given, example of a canvas on which was painted sentient beings as well as inert objects. So on that canvas, you might have seen a picture of a man or a woman or some animals. You also might see some mountains or rivers or various other inert objects. So in this inert as well as the sentient, the Jada Chaitanya, both of them are there, but actually they are all, the entire images on the paintings is on the substratum of the canvas. So in the same way, when you look at jīva-jagat-Ishvara, there are sentient entities like jiva, human beings, other beings are also there. And then there is the world of inert objects. All of them are there. But in and through all of them, what is the substratum, adṛṣṭāna? That is sat. So that is how the darshanam of that sat, the vision of truth, was indicated. That's what we saw in verse number 3. So it was pointed out that even though you are seeing many, multiplicity, there is only one. The substratum alone is real. Everything else is mithya. And when you know that one, that is Saddarsanam. If that is so, why am I seeing the multiplicity? And how long will I see this multiplicity? A beautiful answer is given in the next verse. Verse number 4. Let us read. Ārabhyate jīva-jagat-parātma. Ārabhyate jīva-jagat-parātma. tattvābhidhānena mataṁ samastam. tattvābhidhānena mataṁ samastam. idaṁ trayaṁ yāvadahaṁmatiḥ syāt. idaṁ trayaṁ yāvadahaṁmatiḥ syāt. sarvottamā'haṁmati-śūnya niṣṭhā. sarvottamā'haṁmati-śūnya niṣṭhā. So here Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi says, there are several schools of thought. There are several philosophical schools that have come about, have come to save the humanity. To rescue all the jivas from the ocean of samsara and to give them moksha, liberation. Not only there are several religions all over the world, but even within India, as many as 12 systems of philosophy are there. 6 Nastika and 6 Astika systems are there. We are not going to get into all those here. It's not necessary to know what they are or what each one says. But all of them uniformly claim they are meant to give moksha to the individual. All of them claim themselves to be moksha shastra. Moksha is the parama purushartha, dharma, artha, kama, moksha. That is the parama, the ultimate human pursuit. All of them start their philosophy by introducing the fundamental principle, what they call tattva. Tattva means fundamental principle, the essence, according to that system of philosophy. So the tattvas vary from one philosophy to another. In some, you will find that they claim it is 7. Some others claim there are 16 of them. Some say there are 21 tattvas, 24, so on and so forth. All of them is not necessary. We are not going to dwell into all those systems or all the tattvas. That is not the point. Ramana Maharshi says that all of them have to accept, it can be boiled down to 3 basic tattvas. Tattva trayaṁ, he says here, must be common to all of them. What are they? Samastam, mataṁ, ārabhyate. They all start. Mataṁ means religion, philosophy, school of thought. Samastam, all of them. Ārabhyate, start with the 3. There may be many listed, but they can be boiled down to, all of them can be reduced to 3. How? Abhidhānena, by listing or introducing 3 basic tattvas. They may add more here and there. Some of them may vary. Does not matter. But the basic 3, they all talk about 3. What are they? One is jiva, the individual, a human being, who is the hero of the philosophy. Because the very requirement for the philosophy is for him. That's one. Then the next principle, tattva, is jagat, the world. Because all the problems of the jiva are caused by his interaction with the world. So world is the villain. If jiva is the hero, the world is the villain. Because whenever we complain, it is always a complaint about something other than you. Something other than you is the world. Do you ever complain about yourself? Very rarely. Always, he is like that, she is like that, or such a thing is like that. They are causing me trouble. This is the typical complaint. So the world is the villain. Once the jiva and jagat are introduced, the natural thinking is, who is one responsible to create this world, which is giving me so much problems? The purpose of creation seems that I should not be at peace. Who is this third tattva? What is this? jīva-jagat-parātma. And that is Ishvaraha, creator, Parātma. So this verse mentions this triad, jīva-jagat-parātma. Ishvara is one member of the triad, Jiva, Jagat, Ishvara, different from Jiva and Jagat, and who happens to be one member of this division. So in this context, okay, when laid out this way, Ishvara is also finite. He becomes part of the division. So these 3 are introduced by all philosophers, all philosophies introduce samastam, mataṁ, ārabhyate. They start from there. After introducing these three, what do? They prescribe sadhanas to connect these three. They will ask you, serve the world. When you serve the world, dedicate it to the Lord. So that way, sadhanas galore involving presupposing the jīva-jagat-ishvara division are prescribed. Please be very careful, pay attention. So what is being stressed here is the division. Different types of karmas, rituals are prescribed, different types of upasanas are laid out, and in all of them, these three factors are involved, are mentioned, as if they are three different. Upasaka is there, Ishvara is there, the Upasya Devata and the world is there. And there are alambanam support. You may keep a stone or a flame or a picture. But the world itself is the alambanam. So many things. Ishvara is the upasyam, is what is being contemplated upon. You become the upasaka, and the sadhanas continue. So many, whether it is upasana or puja or whatever it is. Now, Bhagavan says, all this is wonderful. All the systems are beautiful. All sadhanas are beautiful. But you should note one thing. And that is, all these sadhanas presuppose the division of jīva-jagat-ishvara. All of them preserve that distinction. All the sadhanas are based on the division. That means any amount of sadhanas a jiva does, the jiva will continue to be a jiva. He may become a refined, elevated, cultured jiva. He may claim himself to be a devotee jiva. He may claim himself to be a great upasaka. Now, what is common in all these claims is that he continues to be a jiva, a localized entity, an individual entity, who is one of this jīva-jagat-ishvara triad. As long as he is one of the triad, he is called ahankaraha. So please keep this word in mind. Again and again, we will use this extensively because Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi is very fond of attacking this ahankara. This ahankara is a finite entity. He may be exalted, all right, with all these sadhanas and all that, but still a finite, limited entity, different from the other two. Finite means mortality continues, insecurity continues, samsara continues. So all these sadhanas very elegantly preserve samsara by keeping the division in place. The differences are kept intact, so the samsara continues. So Bhagavan says, yāvad idaṁ trayaṁ syāt, as long as this triad is maintained. Previously, it was maintained in the name of the secular vyavahara, the transactional world. After various spiritual practices, the division is maintained in the name of sacred sadhanas. I successfully continue with the triad through divine sadhanas. But so long āhaṁmatiḥ syāt, as long as that I, that ahankara is there, āhaṁmatiḥ, the notion of I, as long as the jīva-jagat-ishvara trayaṁ, the triad is maintained, the finite ahankara, the mortal ahankara, the persecuted ahankara, the insecure ahankara will continue. Now he will be a divine samsari. He will be a sacred samsari. He will be a bhakta samsari. That's all. What did you do at the temple? In front of the Lord, I cried my heart out. Previously, he was crying at home. When the creditors had come pounding for payment or the landlord was demanding the overdue rent. Now he goes to the temple and cries there. This is the only difference. Oh Lord, don't you hear me? Oh Lord, don't you hear my wailing? Don't you see my dire straits? Don't you have any kindness towards me? They call you the ocean of compassion. Why don't you share a little bit of that compassion on me? All that. You also set this to beautiful music and cry melodiously. Choose the appropriate mukhari raga for weeping. Make the crying more polished and sacred. The bottom line, the fact is, you are still crying. So Ramana Maharshi says that all the sadhanas have not attacked this division, the duality. They have not hit the triad. On the other hand, in the name of sadhanas, it has been preserved very nicely. Yāvad idaṁ trayaṁ, as long as this triad is there, tāvad ahaṁmatiḥ syāt, so long samsara will continue. This I notion continues, therefore the samsara continues. That system of teaching is great, which starts with triad, but later attacks the triad itself. Dvaitam is great to start with, nothing wrong. But it is not that great when it continues. Start with Dvaitam, but refine your ahankara. Once your ahankara has become sufficiently refined, it has obtained jnana yogyata. You have become sadhana chatushtaya sampannah. Then you attack the duality. Only when this jīva-jagat-ishvara bheda is negated, called apavadaḥ in Vedanta. The finite ahankara has to be negated. Starting with Dvaitam is adhyaropah, and negating that is called apavadaḥ. You have heard these terms before. None of this should be new. That is why I am taking this text this late in the game. You have heard this. Adhyaropa, superimposition, apavada, de-superimposition, all that, negation. With that, you destroy the ahankara. The crying, weeping, ahankara is uprooted, thrown away. You do not try to remove the crying. That is trying to treat the symptoms. You remove the crier. You root out the problem. Eliminate that ahankara, the complainer. So, therefore, Bhagavan says, sarvottamā''niṣṭhā, the state of culmination, niṣṭhā. The final state is sarva uttama, the greatest. That which is meaningful, valid, purposeful is āhaṁmati-śūnya, where there is no ahankara. That ahankara should not survive. No devotee surviving as the upasaka, as a bhakta. No aham, no I. Even as a jnani. Even to claim I am a jnani is a declaration of ahankara. Jnani is not an attribute of Brahman. Brahman does not have any attribute. So even claiming that I am a jnani is perpetuating the division. I should say I am not a karta. I am not a bhokta. I am not a bhakta. I am not a upasaka or a pramāta. Brahmaiva na brahmavit. I am Brahman alone, not a knower of Brahman. A knower of Brahman never claims that I am a knower of Brahman. As it is said in Manisha Panchakam. So, sarvottamā''niṣṭhā, the greatest position or state is the state of wisdom. Jnana-niṣṭhā, state of wisdom. Ahaṁmati-śūnya, where this ahankara, the knower itself, is absent. In this state of wisdom, there is no division of pramāta, pramāna, or the prameya, the knower, means of knowledge, or what is known. There is an experiential division. The way we see, the intellect knows what a wave or ocean is. It is water alone. So you can see the division, not a problem. But you know what is the truth. Similarly, while dealing with the world, in buddhi there is no entity called jīva-jagat-parātma. In jnana avastha, in that niṣṭhā, I will continue to see the world. We will see the body, but all the division belongs to the names and forms. I know the substance is divisionless existence. When there is only one, why am I seeing many? That is because all this experience of many is with reference to the individual, the I. That is the problem. Is it not true? In deep sleep, when the I is not there, then there is no experience of the world also. In sleep, nobody asks, from where did I come? Nobody asks, what is this world? Nobody asks, where did the world come from? Who is what? Even those questions are not there. But the moment the I gets up, you come out of that deep sleep, everything springs into action. I see the multiplicity. Even though there are these three factors, the essence of all the three is only one. There is only one truth from where these three rise. And unto that all they dissolve. If I find what is my essence, that will be the essence of Jagat also. That would be the essence of Ishvara also. So Saddarsanam will be ārabhyate niṣṭhā. That state that is totally devoid of ahammati, totally bereft of this ahankara, free from ahankara. So all schools of thought start with Dvaitam, but they all stay with it except Advaitam. All Dvaitam schools begin and end with Dvaitam. Only Advaita school begins with Dvaitam. Shankaracharya also, Vedas also ask you, start with karma, do upasana, but Advaitam is great because it starts with Dvaitam but culminates in non-duality. That alone is a valid system of teaching. The others have this problem. Dvaitam is still there, and as long as that is there, there will be samsara. So this vision of the truth, one adṛṣṭāna, one undivided truth, that is Saddarsanam. Continuing verse number 5. Satyam mṛṣā vā cididaṁ jaḍaṁ vā. Satyam mṛṣā vā vididaṁ jaḍaṁ vā. Duḥkhaṁ sukhaṁ veti mudhā vivādaḥ. Duḥkhaṁ sukhaṁ veti mudhā vivādaḥ. adṛṣṭa lokā nirahaṁ pratītiḥ. adṛṣṭa lokā nirahaṁ pratītiḥ. niṣṭṭhā'vikalpā paramā'khileṣṭā. niṣṭṭhā'vikalpā paramā'khileṣṭā. So, we have to gain the knowledge of the divisionless existence. Adṛṣṭānam Brahma. That is the support. That is the adṛṣṭāna for all these divisions. Behind the jiva is this divisionless existence. Behind the jagat is also the divisionless existence. Behind Ishvara also is the divisionless existence. This akhanda sat vastu. So to arrive at this adṛṣṭānam, you can take any route. There are three entities. In this division, in this triad, there are three parties, right? Jiva, Jagat, and Ishvara. You can start with any of them. Because all of them, behind all of them is one truth. So you can start from there. If the support is one, all roads will lead there. You can start from anywhere. To arrive at gold, you can start with any ornament. You can take a bangle, you can take a necklace or a ring, and analyze. And you will see the gold behind that ornament. Not a problem. You can do that. So, any mithya padartha can be probed. A non-real entity, you can start analyzing and you can arrive at the satya vastu. Start with mithya padartha and go to the satya vastu. Go from unreal to real. So, jīva-vichāra, you can start. Jīva-vichāra will lead to Saddarsanam. Similarly, this mithya jagat, start with analyzing the world, that will lead you to Saddarsanam. So also, mithya ishvara vichara, that will take you to this adṛṣṭānam Brahma. What will be the difference in that Brahman? There cannot be any difference. Okay, you have to arrive at one and the same Brahman. So Bhagavan says, even though you can reach Brahman through any of the three inquiries, jīva-vichāra is the best. You can do any of them. You can start with any of them. But the best is jīva-vichāra. Most efficacious, most efficient. And not that the other are useless. There are unique advantages in all the three approaches. But in jīva-vichāra, in that alone, this ahankara, I tell you, is directly attacked. And that is Ramana Maharshi's forte. Bhagwan, like all other acharyas, feels ahankara needs to be attacked directly. This ahankara ego is so powerful that only a direct assault, direct attack can destroy. It is the hardest nut to crack. This is why we break coconuts. So many nuts are there, they can all be, broken very easily. Some of them you can break. Take cashew nut, you can open it. Some beetle nut and all that, you need a nutcracker. But I tell you, this coconut, that is why you take it to the temple. The significance of breaking that is significance of breaking your ego, ahankara. Ahankara is so difficult to tackle because it is most intimate to the jiva. It's the greatest object of attachment. I nourish my ahankara through all my transactions. Everything I do just bolsters this ahankara. I get a bachelor's degree, it gets a little strong. I get a master's degree, this ahankara gets a little bit stronger. I get a PhD. That ahankara is piled high and deep. With every degree behind my name, ahankara gets nourished more and more. That doctor, so and so, now gets married. Ahankara gets stoked a little bit more. Then he becomes a father. Some more. Like this, education, marital acceptance, societal status, social status, everything builds up ahankara. In and through all these vyavaharas, all these worldly activities, transactions, ahankara just grows and grows. You may go around town or the country or across the globe, in all different settings, your ahankara goes with you, grows with you, never away from you. So ahankara is most difficult to knock off. So this ahankara needs a knockout punch. And this is possible only in jīva-vichāra. In jagat-vichāra and ishvara-vichāra, you do not take a shot at point blank range at ahankara. You analyze Srishti. We have done all this analysis, nothing new. Theory of creation. Brahmashraya satparajotamo gunatmika maya asti. There is this Brahman with the support of Maya Prakriti, comprising of the three gunas, manifests as this creation. Seen all this. With this Maya Shakti, Saguna Brahman, Ishvara creates the universe, and the sequence is given. First come the subtle elements, and from them come the sense organs and the subtle body. Then the subtle elements, through fivefold self-duplication and mutual recombination, give rise to gross elements, from which come the gross body, Panchikaranam. Some of you will remember. All that explanation is given. Then Brahma Satyam, Jagan Mithya. Even after understanding all this, I am still worried about this, about that, and whatnot. Samsara very successfully coexists along with Jagan Mithyatva. Along with the Mithyatva of Jagat, I continue to be there. Even after Jagat Vichara, my problems don't seem to have been solved. We indirectly try to attack Ahankara by implication. So this is the first problem with Jagat Vichara and Ishvara Vichara. The second problem is, even though Vedanta repeatedly says Jagan Mithya, the world is unreal, the Mithyatva of the world still a problem for him. How can I say the world is unreal? That's a problem for him, because he tries to understand the Mithyatva of the world from Ahankara Drishti. See, when the Ahankara tries to understand in the Mithyatva of the world, he fails miserably. Because for Ahankara, the world is never Mithya. When I say, I try to understand this with the intellect, that is part of the Mithyatva. So without attacking Ahankara, any amount of investigation into the falsity of the world will fall short. The fact is, this Ahankara itself is false. Ahankara along with the world is Mithya from Brahman. For Brahman, this Ahankara is also Mithya. See, for the husband I, I within quotes. For the husband I, the world is not mithya. Similarly, for the wife I, the world is not mithya. For the father I, world is not mithya. For the devotee I, world is not mithya. For the upasaka I, the world is not mithya. Because in all these roles, this ahankara, very much there. World is never mithya for that ahankara. The truth is, ahankara along with the world is mithya for Brahman. From Brahman angle alone, the world is mithya. So for the jiva to keep repeating, Jagan mithya, Jagan mithya, Jagan mithya, that will be mere lip service. So, first problem is that ahankara is never totally destroyed. And so secondly, that mithyatva of the word is only a vague concept. It's not driven home that well. The third problem is that this jagat vichara not only does not eliminate ahankara, but often adds glory to it. I have studied Vedanta. I am an expert. I can thoroughly explain how the world is mithya. I am a great jnani. My ahankara is so very much alive and glowing. Ahankara continues with another feather in the cap. So the Vedantic inquiry, without attacking ahankara, may nourish ahankara if one is careless. So Vedantic inquiry should attack that ahankara directly. Attack the father I, not just the problems of the father. Ask the question, am I only the father or am I something else? Shivananda Rupaha Shivoham Shivoham. That is what is important. Therefore, Ramana Maharshi warns vivādaḥ, meaning a stern warning. Vivādaḥ, the argument, vivādaḥ, the argument, discussion, inquiry into idaṁ. All this word as to satyaṁ mṛṣā. Inquiring into whether this world is satyam, real, mṛṣā, false. Or inquiry into chit, jaḍaṁ. Is it chit, consciousness, or jaḍaṁ, inert? Duḥkhaṁ, sukhaṁ. Is this world a source of sorrow, duḥkhaṁ, or sukhaṁ, or is it a source of joy? Iti vivādaḥ, all such inquiries is mudhā. Mudhā, futile. It's mudhā also. It's foolish. It's futile. If you have to add the phrase, if you do not knock off ahankara. As long as that ahankara is not destroyed, all these kinds of inquiry into the nature of the world will be useless. On the other hand, if the ahankara is destroyed, if you do not do jagat vichara, the world cannot harm you. You do jiva vichara, ahankara vichara, and negate that. Whether you know what is the nature of the world. As a material scientist, what is all the things of this world composed of? Where did they come from? How did they come? You don't need to know. Your ahankara is destroyed. You don't need to know everything, anything else. And whatever happens in the world will not disturb you. So this approach of aham inquiry, jiva vichara, is so powerful. You all see how powerful this approach is? So only when the jiva, the ahankara, is destroyed, the other two members of the triad, jiva, jagat, ishvara triad, will automatically fall. So jagat and ishvara can be handled by indirect inquiry very easily. But jiva vichara, that's not that easy. Therefore, Bhagavan says, the result of the inquiry, a divisionless state in which ahankara should be absent. That is what is important. The culmination of inquiry should assure the absence of ahankara. Whether jagat and or ishvara is negated or not, that is a secondary question. Have you falsified ahankara? Have you destroyed ahankara? Have you negated ahankara? That is the question. All the problems belong to I, the ahankara. Therefore, he says, paramā'khileṣṭā, the ultimate state, the highest culmination of all these inquiries, akhileṣṭā, that is desirable for all seekers, is avikalpā, a state of wisdom where there is no division. Vikalpa means division, so avikalpa means without division, where the jiva, jagat, ishvara division should not be there. Or we can take it as pramata, pramana, prameya division. We have introduced the jiva, jagat, ishvara division in our study of Saddarsanam, and Bhagavan has also mentioned that all philosophies start from there. So we will use this division. All inquiries should end in the absence of this division. Absence does not mean perceptual absence. Even a jnani continues to see the world. It is not the experiential absence of division, but it is the absence of factual division in my vision. It is a state in which all the divisions are falsified. The divisions are understood as mithya. The divisions are reduced to names and forms, just as even I see the different waves. All we know is only water. I see difference in waves, but I know it is only water. Okay? So like that, physical eyes will see the plurality. But the eye of wisdom see the oneness. There can be perceptual divisions. The mithya can be seen, the illusion is seen, it is experienced. You see the sunrise and sunset, but you know the sun does not rise or set. So Even though there is perception of plurality, through the eyes of wisdom, you see the oneness. So, avikalpa nishtha means nirvikalpaka jnana nishtha. In which state of knowledge, adṛṣṭa lokā, the world in which the world is not seen as real, the state of wisdom in which the jnani does not see as a second and separate entity, nirahaṁ pratītiḥ, the localized I, the individual I, the ahankara is not seen. There is neither the objective world nor the subjective ahankara. The subject-object division is falsified. Such a state of jnanam is parama, the highest, the supreme. So here you should remember that we always emphasize on the advaita jnanam rather than advaita anubhava, experiential divisionless is only a temporary state. If you enter a state of advaitam, it is a state of experience, and any state of experience is temporary. In sushupti, in deep sleep, you have that experience of divisionlessness. But when you come out, you spring back to the division. Or it could be samadhi. The samadhi state, again, there is no divisionlessness. But the advaitam you experience lasts only as long as that state is there. When you come out of that state, the dvaita anubhava springs back. So any experience is temporary because one experience will be replaced by another experience. If the advaitam is jnanam, that I am the non-dual all the time, the divisions are mithya and they appear in me and dissolve in me. The arrival of mithya advaitam will not change my satya advaita nature. So if I have that advaita darshanam, vision of non-duality, the appearance of mithya advaitam will not replace my wisdom of non-duality. Knowledge is the only thing that will not get disturbed by experience. So may we all gain that advaita jnanam. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.